So, my entire life I've known that 1987's The Gate was a hidden gem. Video stores I would frequent told me. The video store I managed told me. The internet has told me. I'm well aware, and yet I never pulled the trigger on it until 2017's Blu-ray release from Vestron Video. I guess it was finally time. The Gate, the title. The Gate stars baby Stephen Dorff as Glenn. After a nightmare, he awakens to discover that a large tree has fallen over in his backyard. Something underneath has been exposed, and he finds a geode.
Keep it going, back her up, that's it. Okay, over.
Also, he has a cool Shaggy dog that everyone seemed to have in the 80s, but no one has now. Also, rest in peace, Shaggy Dog, because of course you know that's coming. Anyway, his parents are leaving town for 3 days, leaving him and his 16-year-old sister home alone. A party is immediately thrown. Glenn and his latchkey kid buddy Terry hang out upstairs and attempt to open up a larger geode that they also found underneath where the tree used to be. When they finally do crack it open, creepy things start happening.
Told you. Look at it.
Moths are everywhere. Terry's dead mom shows up looking for hugs.
Terry, I love you. Huh?
Something sinister starts manipulating the walls. And then, of course, the dog dies. Terry is rightfully weirded out by all this and heads home to rock out to his heavy metal records. While doing so, he realizes that the record he's listening to is actually teaching him the secrets to everything that's going on. In fact, the album is almost a guide to defeating the demons, which seems counter to everything we know about 80s heavy metal records, but hey, good on you, movie.
You got demons.
Demons?
Come on. I think we better try to cover it up first.
Some attempts are made to make sure that whatever is threatening to come out of the hole in the backyard stays put. Meanwhile, Dorff just continues to establish, as he's been doing the entire film, that Glenn is a good kid. He misses his dog, and he's really into model rockets that he and his sister used to build and fire off in the backyard.
Yeah! All right!
There's one seemingly random scene where the kids are rummaging through a closet, awkwardly fumbling with a gun, and then Dorff has a kid-friendly version of a rant from SFW.
I think it's a definite improvement.
Hey, eat your feet, dwarf.
Suck my nose till my head caves in.
Why don't you grow up?
Drop dead.
Up yours.
Piss
Why
off!
don't you just shut up?
So, it's interesting, about 50 minutes in and the Gate really hasn't done anything spectacular yet. It's just a kid's adventure domestic situation, but with a moment of spookiness here and there. Well, all of a sudden, it's chaos time, and it goes places. Whoo boy does it go places. There's of course the shot that everyone has seen, and I believe it was used in the trailers because it's definitely the money shot, but wow, the chaos and the effects from here on out are insanely good. The Gate is the best kind of kids genre adventure in that there are barely any adults involved, and so they have to do all the things. And it's nuts, just nuts. None of it makes much sense, but who cares? It's fun, and the effects are amazing. And while we don't get a scene at the end where the massive damage done to their house gets reversed or anything, at least the dog comes back to life. Yay!
Angus! Oh, Angus.
This is another jam-packed Vestron Video Blu-ray. First up, there are 3 commentary tracks. One with the director, writer, and special effects supervisor, one with the film's special effects team, and an isolated score track and an interview with the film's composers. Then there are 8 featurettes on the disc, adding up to roughly 2 hours and 40 minutes of behind-the-scenes interviews and material. The Gate Unlocked is a dialogue between director Tibor Takesh and special effects supervisor Randall William Cook. Minion Maker and From Hell It Came are interviews with the special makeup effects artist and the film's co-producer. The Workman Speaks is an interview with Carl Cranes, who played the zombie in the film and also played the Slayer in The Slayer. Made in Canada is an interview with 6 members of the cast and crew who talk about what movie production was like in Toronto in the 1980s. From Hell and The Gatekeepers are a pair of older general features from a previous release. And finally, there's The Making of the Gate, which is a vintage promotional featurette from 1987. There's also the usual assortment of trailers and photo galleries. The Gatekeepers is notable because it's the first interview on the disc to feature the film's writer, Michael Nankin. although he does appear on one of the film's commentary tracks, and then later in some of the older interviews. I knew I was familiar with something else the dude had done, and it turns out he co-wrote and co-directed 1980's Midnight Madness when he was only 22 years old. It's one of my favorite films, and so that was fun to piece together. One thing that several participants discuss is how the movie opened against Ishtar, and how when writing about the colossal failure of Ishtar, which creatively I disagree with, but whatever, the gate would always get mentioned in the same articles since it outgrossed the much larger budgeted film. It became a David and Goliath-esque tale. It is weird, though, that out of all the bonus materials, the only cast member who appears is the dad in the featurette about Canadian film production in the 80s. That's it. No one else. I didn't expect we'd get Stephen Dorff, but no one else wanted to talk about The Gate? People love The Gate. Speaking of loving The Gate, I now love The Gate. It's terrific, filled with imagination and just ridiculously good special effects. I'm shocked that even though these techniques were old in 1987, that after the success of the film, more movies didn't try to do similar effects. But that's what keeps The Gate unique. There's nothing else really like it. Definitely get yourself a copy of this Blu-ray.
Slapping perfectly delicious.